Vlog, what's up with it? We back with another video. Today's topic, I just wanted to reflect again. I don't know what it is. Me and reflecting, it just never stops on why my knee blowing up might have been the best thing for me. Me personally, I've always really loved playing sports. As you can see in the last video, like I did a little recap of how I got into sports and how Tavon Austin, Marshawn Lynch, and how I had a great season, trained with some guys that like ended up playing in the league, trained with a few different people. It was overall a cool experience. Part of me almost used it as like an escape of like avoiding my actual life, which can be like a dangerous thing. Because instead of focusing on different aspects of my life, I only focus on developing myself in the physical aspect and as a person inside of the game. And I get it. If to be the top of the top, it's something you really just have to focus on it, and sometimes character development lags. But I only started playing football when I was younger to feel a part of something. I mentioned it in the last video. Actually, I'm not sure that I mentioned it. My brother ended up playing football, and I just saw the camaraderie that he had with his friends, and I was like, yo, I think that's something I want to be a part of. So that's how I originally got inside of sports. And me, myself, I've always been like a decently smart guy, but I was actually just talking with one of my friend's moms earlier this week, and we're talking on, she literally said it herself. She's like, you've always been hiding part of your intelligence. Like you always just never showed it and kind of just like kept it behind the scenes, which for me, the environment that I come from, I've always had to keep, I've always had to just watch everything around me. So it wasn't about like getting to show off my intelligence, because where I'm from, you get yelled at, like, oh, you think you're smarter than me? You're such a smart aleck. You and that smart mouth, like blah blah blah, like stuff like that. And honestly, I'd much rather not get targeted for pointing out things that we could just avoid if we just looked at it from a different angle. So I've always just hit it. And I've kind of shifted my life into this football focus, where I see parts of my life lacking, or where there's more to it. I can just say football people aren't necessarily my people, if that makes sense. Obviously, football players are just a wide group of guys that just enjoy working out, but like a lot of times I just couldn't hold conversations with them, because me, I like playing chess and looking at philosophy and playing with computers a little bit. So it's a little different. A little different. A lot of the guys that hang out with, just like any other dude. Not saying there's anything wrong with it. They just like to, booze, cruise, get high, chill and coast by. Work out, something chill. Can't necessarily say that's me. I can say I've been through that phase. I don't think that's gonna stay me. I don't think that's who I am, really. So with this surgery happening at the point that it did, it almost forces me to focus on changing inside of my life and focusing on the parts that I've always neglected to just come out and come back to life. Like right now, the main reason why I'm focusing on making these vlogs, making this YouTube stuff, is because I have a terrible fear of speaking in front of crowds. I start stuttering and saying and like. And one of my biggest goals is to slow everything down and speak more clearly and be intentional with the words that I'm saying. Also, I just really want to showcase like my life, instead of trying to fit into a narrative of all these other aspects that other people built. I kind of really see it as there's no one shoe that fits all. And as you get older, especially as a I'm not gonna say especially as a man because I don't know what it's like from the female perspective, but just I can speak from the male perspective. From my male perspective that I went through, it's very easy to fall into those groups of like, oh, well, I played football in high school, so like I just watch football these days, you know what I mean? Like I don't really know what else to do. But to the character that I am, I think there's so much more behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see. And it's cultivating a connection with everyone else that's out there who's maybe afraid to be who they want to be, or not even afraid, just not out there. Not out there showcasing who they are. I mean, not everyone's meant to be on display or whatever. But yeah, I think I spent a lot of time just trying to fit in. I wouldn't say I spent a lot of time trying to fit in because there's a lot of things I did do that just did not fit in. But at a certain point, I kind of just lost myself along the way, and I stopped having fun with the things that I was doing. So this is definitely like a refresher, and just bring me back to life and seeing where it goes. Honestly. Now, the knee surgery thing, it is a total bummer, but it is definitely a disruption inside of my repetitive cycle that I exist inside of. And it causes me to slow everything down and really think about who I am, who I want to be, where I'm going, where I'm at. I think that's super valuable, especially in this type of situation. I've been at a pivotal point in my life, that 18 to like 22 bracket. It's one of those stages of life where you set yourself up for what you're going to be doing for the next 5 to 10 years, or the friends you make and the environment you exist inside of. And I know for me, I want to take that time, explore who I am, cultivate the character of what I represent. So ultimately, I can help other people. I think the biggest thing, like every time I think about something I'm doing, I always think about my little brother. You know what I mean? There's so many times where I didn't really have anybody to look up to, and being able to show my little brother like, yo, I played college football. I know what it's like to get injured. I know what it's like to go through so many different hoops. And I also know what it's like to create a YouTube. I know what it's like to sit in front of hundreds of people, hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even one person, and have that one-on-one conversation and just do all these cool things. You know what I mean? The ultimate goal is to become the cool uncle who just does cool shit. Excuse my language. That's the ultimate goal. Look fly, do cool shit, help people. Not much to it. Really not. Peace.